everyone. Thank you for joining us today from wherever you're at home. I'm Lauren Hovig here with BASI Pilates, and I'm here with Kaylee. Kaylee is going to be our awesome model today, and she is in the tech industry. So when I put together this class, I was thinking about her, some things that would help really open up. If you are sitting a lot, that's going to help make you feel really balanced at the end of the session, a little bit taller. And let's go ahead and get started. We'll have you lie on your back. And so join us at home, down on your mat. Let's start with your legs zipped together and just feet nice and close together, neutral through your back. So what that means is that your hip bones, your pubic bone are a nice straight line. Your ribs are relaxing, those back ribs kind of sinking into the mat. And from here, I just want you to open your toes a couple inches apart and then move your heels in line with your toes. We're really narrow. We want it in line with your sits bones. And from here, we'll go into a couple pelvic curls. So inhaling to prepare. As you exhale, feel your abs pulled in and down, and then continue starting to lift from the backs of your legs, rolling up. And we're aiming for a nice straight line at the top. So inhale. Looking at Kaylee's line, she's looking pretty good. Keep lengthening that lower back, yes. And exhale, sink and roll down. So something else I kind of noticing with that first one, maybe Kaylee's back is a little bit tight today. So as we roll down this exercise, such a nice way to warm up and continue rolling, good. You want to keep the distance between like the top of your hips and your ribs really cinched in the front and really lengthen in your back. Nice. Inhale and exhale, roll down. I love to start a session where you're going to do something like this that's going to lengthen your lower back before you start to do ab work, because a lot of the times your back can fight your abs. And so doing something like this to release it first is going to set you up for better success when we get into the abdominal work that mat class is so well known for. Inhale. Exhale down. Let your shoulders stay nice and heavy. Feel the backs of your shoulders just anchoring down into the mat. Feel your feet also still anchoring down as well. Good. Each time she's getting a little deeper, and I love that. Keep rolling up through your back. Inhale at the top. And exhale, roll down. Return back to neutral. Let's just do one more pelvic curl. Inhale. Exhale, pull the abs in. Hang on to that once you start to lift. They don't go anywhere. Get that nice length. You can think of really maxing out the stretch in the front of your hips. We just don't want to take that up too high into your back where you start to arch your back. And exhale, rolling down. Good, I like that. She comes all the way to neutral. Let's bring your arms up to the ceiling. And we'll rotate your palms to face in towards each other. So we're doing a little openness in the shoulder now. As you take your arms out to a T, keep your palms facing upward. And for you on the mat, you'll have a lot more surface area with the rest of your arms. Just for Kaylee today, because we're on this raised mat, I'm going to have her bend her arms so she can kind of squeeze this raised mat. It's just going to give her a little more stability than she would get without it. Zip your legs together. And we'll take a modified spine to a supine just to, again, start to get our back moving a couple different directions. So knees will rotate to one side. You can let that trailing foot just stay glued to the side you're going toward. And then exhale, pull back center. And we go other direction. Inhale to rotate. And exhale, pull back center. How far you go. This isn't so much for a stretch at this point in class. I want to think a little more about warming up the obliques. So if you're in a big arch here, make that range a little smaller. Yes. And then pull those ribs down to come back center. Inhale. Keeping that nice. Really good with the obliques on this side. So it's a little more warming up your obliques than it is stretching through your back right now. Promise we'll get to some awesome stretches throughout. And pull away. And inhale. And exhale. Nice. I love that Kaylee's keeping her knees glued together. Keep that awareness. If you get to one side and you see one knee all of a sudden is shorter than the other, like this, you know you've maybe lost some of that. That rotation might not actually be coming from your waist so much as from your hips, which we don't want. Inhale and exhale. One more to each side, keeping your shoulder blades really planted nice and firm into the mat. And center. And last one, evening out your two sides. And center. Now that I feel a lot more confident that we're warmer, let's take the same exercise up to a tabletop. So one leg to 90 degrees in the hip and the knee joint. Exhale, use your core to help pull the other leg up. And now zip your legs together. Same exact exercise. We inhale, taking your legs to one side. Exhale, pull that back down and come back center. And inhale, taking your legs to the other side. And exhale, pull the ribs down and center. Again, twist. And think hollow pull. And away. Inhale. And exhale. Gailey's having a really good range. You can tell if she goes further, she knows she's probably going to get in that arch, so she's keeping more conservative. But I can feel her obliques under my hand. That's what you want to be sensing, is your core. And center. Good. Two more each side. Inhale. Exhale, drawing down. And inhale. Exhale, drawing down. Last set to each side. And pull. And one more twist. Pull in. Good. Let's set one foot down from here. Bring the other foot down. And let's take our hands interlaced behind our head. And this one, you probably want to pull your heels fairly close so that your shins are maybe just shy of perpendicular to the floor. Let's open your feet back up to that same distance apart that we had for the pelvic curl. So there's maybe a fist between your knees, your feet. And we'll start in with a chest lift. So breathe in to prepare. As you exhale, draw your ribs down. Start to lift your head, neck, and chest up. And take your eyes right into the center of your thighs, maybe at your knees if you're not quite getting that same height. If you get a little more height, a little lower on your thigh. Inhale and exhale, lower down from there. Think of hollowing here. Inhale, good. Exhale, pull down and glide your ribs towards your hips. Good, good, good. Inhale and exhale down. When we start to focus on this, a lot of the times if we think of like traditional like sit-up type exercises, people are going to get a lot more into their hip flexors. So I want you to get out of that by keeping your lower back in contact. So you're only lifting, think from the shoulder blades up and lower down. So it's not so much about how high you end up getting, it's more about how forward you can get while keeping the low back down. That'll get more of your six-pack layer of your abs, your rectus abdominis. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Also allow your head to just be supported in your hands so you're not getting any tension in your neck. You can let the head rest nice and heavy. And lower down. And inhale. Exhaling up. Challenging at the top here. Take that breath in without losing your abs. Keep that navel drawing down. Exhale, lower. And let's take two more. Inhale. Exhale, lift up. Good, good, good. I hope you get a little extra height. Inhale. And exhale. And last one, we'll stay up at the top. Nice. Keeping the height. Let go. Reach your hands for the backs of your legs. Use your arms to help pull yourself a little deeper yet than maybe you could get without. Now this is your new height. Let's try and keep that height. Arms reach up to the ceiling. Interlace your hands back behind your head. Nice, keeping the height. And let's rotate. Inhale, back center. Exhale, rotate away. Inhale, back center, and twist. Inhale, exhale, and twist. Inhale. So I love that Kayla's keeping her height. And she's finding nice evenness when she goes to each side with the distance between her shoulder and her hips. A lot of people, when we rotate, will either lengthen the side they're going toward, or they'll crunch the side they're going away, or they'll do the opposite. So what we want to look at is from a bird's eye view of yourself, your ribs to your hips have the same distance on either side. Awesome. And towards me. On this next one, rotate to that first side. Take your back arm to your thigh. Just use your arm to help pull yourself again back to that forward position. Keep your head resting in your hands and see if you can, even out those ribs. This could be a great opportunity at home. Just take a peek at your sides. Make sure they look the same. Now, maintain that as you let go. Hands behind your head. Come back to the center and rotate to the other side. Reach the opposite hand to thigh. Use that arm, help maybe pull you a little deeper than you could get without the support of your arm. Pull this side in for you. Good. Even out the two sides. Now keep that new height. Bring the hand back. Come center. Let's do one more to each side now that you found it. Deeper. And lift. And lift. Inhale a little higher. Awesome. Lower yourself down. I'm going to let Kaylee stretch out for a moment. So you can let your arms come by your sides. Let's take your right arm up overhead and your left leg will stretch out long. So she's going to get a little opposition between left leg, right arm. You just feel that stretch running through your trunk. Always feels good after ab work. And just take one more breath before we switch sides. Good. Bend your knee. Press that arm back by your side. Let's switch, lengthening your right leg, left arm. And even when you're stretching here, I love that Kaylee's still keeping that nice squareness through her torso, that she didn't start to side bend or flare her ribs out. All those little things start to add up to technique when you get into the exercises. So while you're stretching, just kind of be aware of it. And then you can take the arm down and the knees. Let's take one leg back up to that tabletop position. Use your core again to stabilize, bring the other leg up. And let's grab your hands to the back of your legs and just rock yourself up to seated. All right, we'll get into a little more spine stretch now that the abs are warmer. So sitting up nice and tall, let's take your legs out in front of you. I'm gonna have you scooch back a tiny bit so you don't run out of mat. And let's take your feet to the outsides of your shoulders. Think maybe just slightly wider than, and flex your feet so your toes are reaching straight up towards the ceiling. Now, if you have tighter hamstrings, you might notice you're a little rocked back like this. So for someone to find your sits bones, if you do have a little tighter hamstrings, it wouldn't be wrong to slightly soften those knees. So I'm going to have Kaylee do that because her back is what I'm most interested in with this. She gets her back working. She's going to be more successful with getting that stretch. So let's take your arms straight out in front of you, right in line with the shoulders. Energy out the fingertips. Let's take a big inhale here. As you exhale, let your neck start to stretch out. And then the neck, let it be done. Move into that upper back starting to stretch. That mid back starting to stretch. Finally get through that lower back. And then you can just gently tilt forward. Two really common things. I'm going to have Kaylee pause here. The shoulders shrugging up towards your ears. We want to avoid any shrugging, so let the shoulder blades draw down to your back. And the second is not to overdo the head. So think of the head, the back of the head pushing up maybe a little more towards the ceiling. Think maybe back of your neck a little towards the ceiling. That's a little better. Inhale there. And exhale, roll up. One vertebrae at a time. Good. Inhale again. As we go down to exhale, think about those two things. Notice when you start to shrug, if you do, and notice if your head just continues after its turn is over. I always think like one part of our back gets to be the star of the show. The rest don't get to keep stealing the thunder. Inhale at the bottom. Good. Exhale, roll up. It's like you're stacking up against a wall behind you. Good. And lifting up. Inhale. And exhale, rolling down. The neck stretches. Then it's done the upper back. Really nice. Kaylee's taking that cue really well with the head. That lower back. Inhale. Exhale, rolling up. time through. Inhale and exhale. It might seem like just a really simple exercise, and actually when I first learned this exercise, I was really flexible dancer, and I just didn't find a lot in it because I was just hanging into that flexibility and that stretching. But it's such a profound exercise if you really focus on the abs supporting, that back lengthening, the shoulders pulling down. You can feel your lats engaging, your hamstring stretching. I mean, there's a lot going on. Exhale, roll back up. You're going to get out of it really kind of what you put into it, what that intention is, and lifting up to the top. She's going to keep her flat back here, palms up to the ceiling. Open your arms out to a T position and just bring your legs together. So your feet will be glued together. This is a great chance to, one, check if you are pedaling. So what I mean by pedaling is this. If you're flexing, one foot's coming forward, this is a big no-no for the next exercise. So bring them back together. Use that as kind of your gauge, that feedback, one foot pressing into the other. So this way, our twist is going to come a lot more from our waist. So Kaylee will rotate to one side, a little further, then to the back, a little further, and to the front, a little further, and back, a little further. And she's really trying to keep that T position with their arms. Boom, boom. It's so common for this back arm to kind of hinge forward. So keep your trailing arm really wide. And twist further and 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 and. I love to see that Kaylee's feet are staying still. Come back to that pedal and check in. Make sure you're not. And lift a little bit taller. Nice. And two more. Or I guess you have to even out. Oh, now two more. Good. And coming back, center. After you're even on both sides. And let's just take your hands behind you now. So we'll continue stretching out through the chest. This time the fingertips will either face towards you, like this, or they can face side if this is too hard on your wrists. You don't want your fingertips to face backwards. Just it's not going to be a safe position when you go to stabilize and weight bear on your shoulders. And let's go ahead and have Kaylee bend her knees today. We'll do a little hinge up. So this will be back to fist distance apart. She's going to really focus on lifting through her back. And this, like your back like a board. Inhale, move from your hip joint. Lift your legs up and come into a nice flat back. And draw the abs in. Nice. There. Increase it back down. Inhale. Good. Lower it down. Creasing. And crease right back up. Think flat through here, even as you lift up. And exhale up. So she's trying not to push into my hand on the way up, but keep this really like a board. And crease down, crease in the hips. And as you go up, don't push into my hand. Exhale. That time's the winner. Love that one. Just make sure her abs weren't overworking her back. And if that happens, you'll end up seeing kind of a rounded, almost like a pelvic curl, that position we started with. We don't want to have that here. We want to stay nice and neutral. Let's do two more. Hinge up. Yes. And feeling the back of your legs. Big stretch in your shoulders, that chest coming up to the ceiling. And back down, just crease at the hip joint. Good, that was a better crease too. Last one up to the top. Try not to overdo the abs, they're nice and even. Inhale. Head back a little. And exhale down. Good. Let's get you stretch over your feet. You can flex your feet and grab on to just get your wrists to relax after that. Wrist strength takes a lot of time, just like any other muscle group. The more you do it, smaller doses start to build up. It gets easier to weight bear for longer periods of time. All right, we've done a little full body, a little bit of abs, a little bit of back stretching. So let's go into some side work. So I'll have you come onto your forearm. You'll stack your forearm right underneath your shoulder, so you're nice and lifted. If you're too far away, you're gonna be totally collapsed on this side. If you're too close, you'll start to feel yourself shrugging. So find that nice alignment, elbow under shoulder. Kaylee's got her legs stacked, her top leg on her bottom leg, and I want the hips also stacked. So your top hip bone on top of your bottom. That's your ASIS. We want them in the same plane the whole exercise. From here, bring that forward again. Good. Take the top hand just behind your head. And even your head can be in that same diagonal as the rest of your body. And then think small on this one because we're going for a straight line from your head through your knees. We don't want to have your back too high. So as we inhale, prepare. Feel the abs underneath. Exhale, pull them up, and just take yourself into that nice straight line. Kaylee's doing really good. She's not overdoing, so she's doing suspension work on this bottom side. Inhale, just tap it down. So now a little more stretch underneath. Exhale, suspend, come back up. That's it. And inhale, you feel a lot of good shoulder work here too. And again, pulling up. I can feel the obliques underneath engaged. It's exactly what we want. And up again. Good, 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 good. Feel that in and down. One more, hold it up. This is the challenge. Take your top knee for a little clamshell. Open it for 5. Lower down, open up for 4. Ooh, good pop. I love it when it's a good pop. And 3. Hip bone staying stacked, good. And 2. And last 1. And leg down, hip down. Press yourself up. And let's go ahead and take your hand that was just behind your head towards your feet. Bring that other arm you're just supporting on overhead for a nice side stretch. So that side we just worked, you're getting a stretch for now. I love that last exercise because you get a little bit of endurance in the oblique, you know, where you're holding that position for a little bit more of an extended period, but you're also getting really good glute work with those 5 clams. Let's go ahead and come back up and take your legs to the other side. And we'll go back into side 2 now. Back to the first exercise, just the straight lifts. Good, you might be able to bring this elbow back a little further toward me. There you go, so it's in line with where your hips are. Stack the hips forward. Good, take this top hand behind your head. And then don't forget, we're so used to orienting our focus vertical because that's how we experience the world. But for this, we want our head in line with our spine. So you might be looking a little slanted in your, your vision here. Okay, bring those hips stacked, pulling the abdominals in. We'll take an inhale. Exhale, move from the bottom waist just to come up. It's so small. Look how small she's moving. That's what you want to feel at home. And inhale, tap down. It's going to give you more work than if you just shoot your hips up and go too high where you're crunching and maybe collapsing on the other side. So, really nice. Inhale. And exhaling up. Inhale, just tap. And down. This shoulder still really grounding. You feel that underarm engaged. And exhale, lift. Very nice. Let's do 2 more. We'll stay up on that second one. Lift. She's doing a nice job keeping her hips stacked. And last one. Hold up. This is the endurance for the obliques. A little contraction for the glutes. Let's lift the knee up and inhale, lower down. Exhale, I guess pushing through gel. And down. Exhale. Inhale, just 2 more, and up, and down. Pull out of that shoulder a little bit, this last one, yes. And down, gently lower yourself. Press yourself up to seated. Grab onto your shin. Take that arm you're just supporting with overhead and get that good stretch. Even your lats were really working to help ground your elbow, so you get a little lat stretch here too. If you want more lats, you can go palm up even, and that might give you a little more pull there. So before we wrap up, one major muscle group, muscle area that we have not addressed, which is back extensors. So I'll have Kaylee come onto her forearms facing the side. Legs will lay out straight behind you. Now this is an exercise from Matt called the single leg kick. Or we start the legs together, feet are pointed, and again, you want your elbows right underneath your shoulders. The hands can actually interlace, and we're gonna use your arms to push down so you can really lift up through your back, and I want you to bias a little bit longer through that lower back, so like your tailbone, yes, starts to reach towards your heels. I always like to pretend I have like a tiger tail, you know, a tiger like literally you grab that tail, think of pulling it down towards your heels. So that's gonna help just lengthen your lower back, feel your abs underneath supporting that, so that this full spine is really working about the same amount as our goal. From here, use your hamstrings, your glutes to float your thighs off the mat, and keep that the whole time. So I'm gonna have my hand here, pretend you have a hand under, you don't wanna smash. We'll take your right leg to your seat, kick your leg 2 times. We go kick, kick, switch, left leg, kick, kick, and switch. You can switch at the same time, boom, boom, and boom, boom. And you can start to feel if those knees start to push down, you might be losing some of your hamstrings. They're working as both hip extensors and knee flexors. Lift that chest up a little more. And find your gaze on the horizon, straight ahead. Boom, boom, and boom, boom, and boom. Draw the shoulders down, yes, and boom, and boom. The breath is an inhale, both sides, exhale, both sides. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice, inhale. Hamstrings should start squealing. Oh, don't let them drop in and out. And one more in and out. Take your legs out to a hover, zip them together. Now let's do the same to focus a little more on the legs here, because I think Kaylee could probably get more extension in your hips if she didn't also have the back involved. So let's come to your, down onto your hands. Stack your hands and just let your forehead rest on your palms. So there's still activity in your back, but we're gonna focus a little more on those lower body extensors. Good, glutes, hamstrings. Same pattern with your legs. Right leg, kick it in. We'll kick, kick, left, kick, kick, in, kick, kick, and switch. And I got my hand there. I don't want to feel her pushing on me. You don't want to feel yourself pushing your knees to the mat. And good, draw those front ribs towards your back ribs. Find that long tiger tail. Better. Nice. Now let's go in and out. And one more inhale. One more exhale. Both legs go extended. Let your legs rest down. Now let's do a little opposition again. So we'll go arms overhead. We did this when we were stretching on your back. We'll go palms can rotate down towards the floor. Good, and we'll just take the right arm and the left leg up. So here's what I mean with the opposition. You get that cross lateral stretch. And then set the leg down, switch arms, switch legs, boom. So it's like slow swimming. And release. And right arm, left leg lift. And left arm, right leg lift. And reach out through those toes. And through the fingers. And catch everything up in the air hovering. You can draw your chin down just a hair. Good. So I want the biceps to like frame your ears, and then they lift from higher. They lift from there. A lot of the back of your shoulder, your deltoids. And stretch your elbows. Yes, and boom. And boom. Really good back work here. Keeping it slow so you can feel if you rock side to side. One more of each. And gently lower everything down. Let's pull your hands underneath your shoulders. Use your abs to kind of pull yourself into a rest position. So you can pull up, sit down on your heels. Awesome, awesome work. So it doesn't take a ton of exercises or a million repetitions to really get a good full body integrated workout in. So hopefully that's what you're feeling today as you get into this stretch. More balance, the back side of the body working to combat our life just pulling us forward, as well as getting our core and our extremities really strong. Whenever you're ready, you can roll yourself back up to sitting. And just thank you for joining us today. I hope you had an awesome time following along. Thank you so much for doing it with us, and we'll see you in the next video.